Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today we have my January TBR. Now I know I don't typically make TBRs, I am very much a mood reader, but I always like to pick out a couple of books that I want to read over the course of the month, and then as I finish those I pick up other ones in between or after or whatever it might be. And for January in particular, I do have a few books already that I know I'm going to be reading this month, and this year, in 2020, I am going to try super hard to complete the PopSugar 2020 reading challenge. I will link that down below. I first found the PopSugar challenge back in 2015 and I attempted it for 3 or 4 years and a few times came really close to finishing it but just never actually doing so. And then last year the prompts for 2019 I just didn't love. They were just they felt a little too hard and maybe like they were trying to be a little bit tricky, and so I didn't even attempt it. But I looked at the 2020 prompts and I actually really liked them. So I am going to try to accomplish that this year. And I implemented a little bit of a TBR jar type thing to help me out and stay on track. So I'll be picking those prompts in this video. But first, let's get started with the books that I know I'm going to be reading this month, and 2 of them I've already actually started. The first one that I've started is City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is the story of a woman named Vivian who is recounting her young adulthood to a woman that she's writing letters to. As far as I know, you don't really know why she's writing these letters or who this person is that she's writing them to. I am about 130 pages in and I'm really liking it so far. Vivian, as a 19-year-old, is kicked out of college and her parents are super disappointed, and so they send her to New York City to live with her Aunt Peg, who owns a theater. This is set in 1940, at least the start of the book is in 1940, and she is wrapped up in this world of theater and showgirls and music and drinking and sex, and so far, like I said, I'm really enjoying it. One of my favorite things in books is when an older person is recounting their story to a younger person, you know, many years in the future, or I guess in the present. Some of my favorites do that. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, The Boston Girl by Anita Diamant, off the top of my head. And yeah, so far this one is totally doing it for me. I'm super excited to finish it. The other one that I've already started is on audio, and I'm listening to Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is a thriller, and I realized in 2019 that thrillers via audiobook, mystery thrillers via audiobook are like my favorite thing. Lock Every Door is about a woman who is hired to be an apartment sitter in this really bougie building in New York City, and she's pretty down on her luck. She has no money, she has no job, her boyfriend is cheating on her, all this stuff, and so she kind of finds her way into this role and gets a little spooky, gets a little worrisome. I'm not very far in. I think I'm maybe 6 chapters in. Kayla from Books and Lala put this on her best books of the year list. I think it was pretty high up in the Goodreads Choice Awards for mysteries thrillers. Overall, I've just heard really good things about not only this book but Riley Sager in general. My cat is running around like a lunatic. Very sorry if you hear her little pattering feet back and forth. But anyway, super excited about this one. I also hope to pick up The Silent Patient by Alex Michelides, I think is the author. I, if you don't know, recently moved back to my home state of Maine, and while I do know some people, I don't know a lot of people, and I want to start making new friends, and so I'm joining a book club called the Unregistered Animagus Book Club, which seems pretty perfect, and this will be our first book. The first meeting is in February, so I might not get to this until the first week of February because I think the meeting is on the 8th. I'm going to try to fit it in at the end of January if possible, but it's on my radar. If not this month, then definitely at the beginning of next month. So the last 2 books that I know I'm for sure reading are both buddy reads. The first one is with my friend Jocelyn from Yogi with a Book, who is one of my favorite people on this platform, and we are buddy reading Roses and Rot by Kat Howard. In 2018 we buddy read An Unkindness of Magicians by Kat Howard and both really loved it. We said like all of last year that we were gonna buddy read this and never got around to it. So it's 2020, it's happening, we're starting on Monday, and this is about two sisters who go away to like a magical boarding school or something. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually magical. It says like a fairy tale like boarding school, which makes me feel like magic is involved, but either way, I loved Kat Howard's writing in An Unkindness of Magicians, and it'll be super fun to buddy read this with Jocelyn, and I feel like we're really gonna like it. And then I am buddy reading with Kerri from Kerri the Book Belle and Elle from Bookish Elle, star-crossed by Minnie Darke. This is kind of based off of astrology. Childhood sweethearts, Justine and Nick bump into each other as adults, and a life-changing love affair seems inevitable. So basically, Justine works at a magazine, and Nick reads that magazine for the horoscopes, and so she changes his Aquarius horoscope before it goes to print so that, I don't know, it's sort of like inspires a romance between them, but I think from there things are affected because of that. I don't know, we just know it's based on astrology, or like inspired by astrology, and we all really enjoy learning about astrology and have an interest in reading more books inspired by astrology this year. So we're gonna buddy read this sometime this month. And now the PopSugar reading prompts. So this, how cute is this? My grandma went to Paris and came back with this. It had tea in it. It's made to look like a book, but it's got a little compartment in there. So I decided to put the tea in something else and use this as a TBR jar sort of deal. I'm gonna pick, I think 4. I'm gonna try not to double up on prompts for the reading challenge unless I pick the prompts in the same month and I can find one book for both of them, or 3 or 4 or 5 of them. Not 5. I'm gonna only do, I think, 4. So read a banned book during banned books week. That's a time specific one, so not that one. A book about or involving social media. A book you picked up because the title caught your attention. A book about a book club. And one more. A book on a subject you know nothing about. That one's hard. Right off the bat, I think the subject I know nothing about, I have an biography of Jane Goodall, who like I sort of vaguely know some facts about, but I don't really know much about her. So I think I might go with that. A book about a book club. I do really want to read a Bromance book club by Lissa K. Adams, which came out at the end of last year, and I've heard really, really good things. A book you picked up because a title caught your attention, and a book about or involving social media. If I can, Tweet Cute by Emma Lord comes out later this month, and I've heard some pretty good recommendations on that, but I might have to do some more thinking on this one, as well as the one title caught your attention. I might just browse my shelves and like pick up a book because the title. I don't really want to buy a new book because of that. I just bought a couple new books, so I guess I could use those. But anyway, I don't know. I don't have any of these set in stone, but throughout the month, as I finish books that are on my TBR, I'll pick up ones that complete these prompts. So that is it. Those are the books that I'm hoping to read in January. I'm hoping for a really strong start to the year. I just did all my stats for 2019, and January's average rating was 3.2, which was the lowest of any month. So good news is it only went up from there, but it does make me feel a little nervous about this January, although seriously, these are some of my most highly anticipated books. So I have really high hopes for January. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've read any of these books or have any thoughts about how I can fulfill some of these prompts, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you would like to stay connected, you can find links to all my social media accounts as well as my blog in the description box. I'm going to try to be better about my blog this year because I really love it and I really miss it. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video. But until then, happy reading. Bye!